Well, hey, kids, dreamers, and jammers, welcome to another episode of Park Streamers Hangout. We're excited because we have a very special guest to join us tonight, and it's going to be an awesome episode of Park Streamers, our first guest of 2026, and we're going to bring him on in just a moment. But before we do, hey, can Cordy and Danny please tell everyone where they can find you? Let's start off with Cordy.
Sure thing. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, my Discord, and Twitch.
Very good. And Theme Park Casual, where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube, X, and Instagram, all of them at Theme Park Casual.
Great. And everyone, you can find me at Barry Place 28 on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. Before we get started with the show tonight, though, let's go ahead and jump into the chat and say hi to everyone. So who do we have in the chat today?
We have got Kelly DiMaggio, which also member for 3 months. It's always fun watching Park Streamers Hangout.
Oh,
thank you, Kelly.
Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly.
And flags in the chat.
Jessica Coloma, welcome in. We've got Timothy.
I always never know how to pronounce his last name. It's Priswara, something like that.
I'll just stick with Timothy. There you go.
Yeah.
There we go. And Pete McDevitt, of course, is here with us tonight.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, Pete, welcome in.
Yeah, Mattercam Matt, Jennifer Beausoleil.
We got Barbara Duncan. Welcome. We got Jay Bay. Good to see you. Teacher Tammy D. Welcome in.
Alyssa Neal, Disney Family. Welcome. Night Rush 79. Hello, hello.
Steve Jennings. Welcome in. Weird Old Man. Good to see you.
SoCal Sports.
SoCal Sports.
SoCal.
I think you said Teacher Tammy D, but let's see.
And I apologize, guys. I'm like fighting off a little bit of a cold, so if I'm kind of clearing my throat, I'll try to mute as much as I can. But you'll get a lot of that tonight.
Welcome in, Most Wanted. I know it's just.
We got James Lapsansky.
Elisa Neal, Disney Family.
Welcome in, everybody.
I think that's
awesome. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. And a quick special thank you to Pete McDevitt for connecting us to our guest today. So thank you. Thank you, Pete McDevitt.
Rob Ola just gifted 1 Park Streamers Hangout membership. So thank you so much, Rob.
Congratulations to Jennifer Beausoleil.
Oh,
hey,
very nice. Congrats.
Flags in the chat. Flags in the chat.
I know. You know what? I think I need to. Let's put some confetti in the background again. Yeah. Let me get to it. There we go. Confetti in the background. Yay! Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. All right. With that, we have a very special guest tonight. His name is James Warda, and I believe that Cordy is going to read his bio for all of you tonight. So let's go ahead and hear a little bit about him and then bring him onto the show.
All right. So James Warda, author of How Does Disney Do That? And Where Are We Going So Fast? Has written for the Chicago Tribune and Pioneer Press, contributed to numerous Disney publications and sites, including Disney Magazine, Walt Disney World Magazine, and Celebrations Magazine. In addition to working on the next book, what was HDDT? I wanted to do that. I was like, wait, what is it? Series, Why Does Disney Do That? He is also a frequent Disney meeting and podcast guest and speaker, offering presentations and signings at Disney Springs and at EPCOT and Animal Kingdom with his partner Theron Skees, former Walt Disney Imagineering creative executive. James also has over 25 years of communications leadership experience at Fortune companies as a consultant and for a national nonprofit. And then we'll post the links here, but to learn more, you can go to howdoesdisneydothat.com and jameswarda.com.
All right. With that, I'd like to welcome James Warda to our stage here. James, how are you?
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks.
Welcome, James.
Yeah, hey, it's so great to have you. We had gotten connected with James last year with Pete McDevitt. Unfortunately, with everything kind of going on, unfortunately, we couldn't get him on last year, but I reached out to him, and he was kind enough to be our first guest for 2026. I think it's amazing because what better to start off the way than talking to someone who is an author of a Disney book and working on his second one. And by the way, there's so much more that James has done besides, how does Disney do that? So we're going to learn a lot about him tonight. And I think, first of all, let's go and just jump into how does Disney do that. And I'm going to start off with the first question, James. And that is, the entire book begins with a single moment and your emotional reaction regarding Flight of Passage, which I think is an amazing ride. I love that. I got to experience it for the first time last year. So when you asked yourself, how does Disney do that? Did you have any idea that you would actually turn that question into a full book?
No, that's a great question. No, I think maybe if I can just kind of recap how this all came to be, which was probably about 4 years ago. My wife and I still lived up in Illinois, and our middle son, our son Matthew, lived down here in Orlando. I live near Orlando now, and he called my wife and I, and he said, "You've got to go on 2 new rides that Disney has: Rise of the Resistance and Flight of Passage." He's a huge theme park fan, and then he said something really important that I didn't realize until recently is probably the reason we're all here, or that I'm talking to you, which is, he said, don't look at anything about the rides. Don't watch anything. So we didn't look at anything. We came down, we went on Rise of the Resistance, and an incredible ride, and then we went on Flight of Passage, my son and I. And I, had seen Avatar, but I wasn't a huge Avatar fan. The movie was cool, but that was about it. I didn't have an emotional connection. Again, it kind of feeds into this whole story. So we went on Flight, and we were waiting, and we're sitting there, and we're waiting. We had that good old Disney little anxiety going, and and the wall went up, and we swooped into Pandora. And every time I tell this story, I get goosebumps. It doesn't matter how often I tell it, I get goosebumps. And I was looking around, and about 2 minutes in, I started to tear up. And I'm like, what? A 57-year-old guy at the time. I'm like, what's happening? I'm with my oldest son. He's my middle son. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm crying on a Disney ride. And so then about 2 minutes later, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm feeling a sense of wonder. This is wonder. I don't know how I even knew that, but it's like, I'm feeling wonder. And so we got off the ride and we walked outside, and in my head, I went, how does Disney do that? And I did not mean, I knew even then, just looking back, I didn't mean, how did they create the Banshee? How did they do the rock work? It's not what I meant. I meant, how did those people make me feel that way? I want to know about those people, from the Imagineers, the cast members, the lead, all of them the custodian, all of them who created that experience and made me feel that way. So that's really where, and at the time I wasn't thinking about a book, I was just like, and I didn't even, after that, I wasn't gonna do something with it at that point, but I kind of knew, it's like, I want to share that, what just happened. And, I'm a writer, so it's like, what does a writer do? They write about these things, right? I was a little embarrassed about writing about it, but at the time I had a Chicago Tribune blog, and so I was like, okay, so I wrote about crying on a Disney ride. And I remember hitting the send button, the send key or the enter key, and I'm like, how are people going to react? And literally within 2 days, I had over 100 replies from men and women saying they had cried on Disney rides. And 2 weeks later, I'm watching the Imagineering story, Leslie Iwerk's amazing documentary on Disney Plus, and I see Imagineers tearing up about the rides they worked on. And I'm like, all right, something's going on here. A few weeks later, I happened to comment on LinkedIn on a Disney Institute post about Disney Springs. And in this video, was Theron Skees, who was the creative executive at Imagineering, who oversaw the Disney Springs transformation. He oversaw the cruise line, etc. I just commented back, "Hey, nice job." It's, I'm also in communications, and he's a PR dream because he can tell a story. And he commented back, and he said, "Hey, do you want to collaborate?" I'm like, well, let's see. I'm a Disney fan, and a former Imagineer just asked me if I wanted to collaborate. It's like, yes, please. So we started talking. He told me that the Imagineers had a question for fans. He said their question they always had was, "How did our attraction make you feel?" So I had the question that he had the answer to. I had the answer that he had the question about. So we started talking. We did literally 60 hours of Zoom calls. And that was kind of the basis of the book. And I launched the communities. And so but I wasn't thinking about a book at the beginning. I just knew I wanted to share it and say to everybody, did you guys feel this too? And what's going on here? What is this?
That's amazing. That's awesome. And I mean, who knew you were going to write a book about, that feeling? So I think it's really, really amazing. And what a great experience.
Yeah. And I think it's just something that I thought of when I was reading through that, this is about a ride, an attraction, right? And that feeling of wonder that you have. And I know us and other people that we know, that's how I get with Wondrous, like the fireworks show that we have at Disneyland, that same, to this day, the goosebumps, that feeling every single time, it never goes away. So yeah, truly, truly relate to that.
Yeah, mine is the welcome to Fantasmic.
Wow.
As soon as I hear that, it's just like whoosh. I'm in there's so many different memories tied to that show, and just like I said, I hope I don't cry tonight because I was tearing up reading the book because of all the different points of view, and this is kind of a dream to be able to talk to somebody who has dove into it quite this deep. So. Like I said, I'm gonna do my best to stay away from the blub.
Danny, I hope you do cry, because that's kind of the whole point of this whole thing. It's because obviously that it means something to us, So yeah, we can all just have a good cry.
As long as I'm not alone.
Yeah. So you emphasize in the book that Disney always starts with story before technology or spectacle. So what happens to an experience when story becomes secondary, and why is Disney so disciplined about protecting story first?
That's a really good question. Really good question. You mentioned I'm in communication. So part of what I did when I was in corporate communications was I would watch executives speak, and I taught speaking, and I would watch them. And then afterwards I would tell them, okay, how did it go? How was the audience, etc. Whenever you can all do this, your audience can do this. When you're at a speech next time, watch what happens when somebody shares a personal story. They can be going on and on about facts and data, and sometimes they go on so much that people are checking their phones, and as soon as they share a personal story, typically those phones go away and people lean in. And there's something about story that's very primal. It's sharing around the campfire and all that. It's it really connects us. Mm-hmm. And you can feel, I think you can just feel when you're in a place where they really care about the story and where they want to immerse you in that story. And they think of every little thing, like when you're on Rise of the Resistance and you look up, and you're in the little tunnel queue, and you look up on they've got, little like boxes in the ceiling that are, and on the box is a little bit of rust. you know, it's not real rust. You know, when they care that much to immerse you in the story, you feel it. And you know what it feels like when a place doesn't quite care as much about the story, where something's just kind of thrown in, you know, or something is done just kind of halfway. And I mean, I think you can feel that. I don't know if you guys have experienced that. I'm guessing you have.
Oh yeah. In fact, that was going to be kind of a follow-up question with this one is, when it comes to some of the misses that Disney has had with their attractions, are you usually able to kind of look at it from that objective perspective and say, that's where you guys, you know, missed the mark, and that's where things kind of got off track?
Yeah. I think a lot of people will come to our community and, you know, and then think I'm going to be Pollyannish about it, you know, about that everything's perfect. I say Disney's a company made up of people. People aren't perfect, so I get it, you know. I'll give you an example. So in at Disney World at EPCOT with Ratatouille, there's the queue. The queue is just, there's just not much to it. There's not much detail until you get kind of into the ride. And so we're walking through it, my wife and we're like, well, this doesn't feel like Disney. You know, because and probably what happened, I'm not an insider, but probably the budget affected that, you know. So right. There are little places, and see, that's the thing. That's how I know how good Disney is, because those places are few and far between where you're taken out of the story, you know. And, you know, they always have to balance. Do they keep a ride around because of the nostalgia, or they try something new? You know, like the Rivers of America being removed. I happen to wish they hadn't done that, and I'm sure that Cars Land and Disney's Magic Kingdom is going to be amazing. I happen to believe water is very important in the parks, and you know, I didn't know him obviously, but I would happen to believe that Walt would probably feel the same. It's like you want a place where maybe there isn't a distraction screaming past you. Maybe just a place you can go and look at the water with your kids. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Disney doesn't get it, you know, I mean, again, saying right is kind of tough because, you know, they're balancing, it's a business too, right? And they got to do things that bring people in. So, but yeah. Yeah,
it's nice to hear that, you know, it's not like you said, the Pollyanna-ish point of view. It's good to hear that. I know we like to make sure that we're not, you know, sugarcoating things. And, you know, a lot of times with our live streams, we'll try food items and it's, you know, I'm not afraid to say that was not good. Do not get this, you know? So, you know, it's nice to have that honesty. So I appreciate that. But we're going to go into the why people feel at home at Disney, and the phrase welcome home carries real emotional weight for Disney fans. From your research and conversations, why does Disney succeed at making millions of people feel like they belong?
That's you guys. I think you knocked it out of the park with these questions. These are really good questions. There is something about that welcome home. And, you know, if you go somewhere, I think I say this in the book, but like if you went to a party, I don't know if you'd be talking about Disney at a neighborhood party, but if you were, and if you mentioned, you know, if I mentioned what welcome home feels like, people who aren't Disney fans, who don't get it, they're not going to get that part. But, you know, I think number one, we all want to be welcomed home. You know, we want that feeling of home. You know, some people had it, and for those people who never really had that as much, that's even more powerful. It's like, wow, I always say it's, you know, to remember the child you had or wish you'd had, you know, and you know, my wife, in the book, I shared this, that I asked her, she was my focus group of one. And I said, when we have guests over, you know, what do you think? Because she just, our house turns into like the Grand Floridian when we have guests coming over. Like, she's shopping, we're building things. We got, it's like we got green walls up, renovations. But there's always little things. So she thinks of the guests that are coming over, and she goes, what will make them feel at home? What will surprise them? What will, those little things. And Disney just does that. They do it beautifully. They make you feel like that they've been waiting for you, and they immerse you. I can't speak as much. I've been to Disneyland, obviously, and I hope to be there much more. I can more speak to Disney World just because that's where we've gone growing up, with the kids growing up, and I live near here now. But it used to be from the moment you got to the airport, you get on the Magical Express, you were in there, you were in the story right then. Magical Express is gone. Good example of something I don't agree with. I think it was a very important thing. I think everyone who follows anything around Disney will see that others feel that that's a missing piece now. But they immerse you, and then you pull up to your resort or wherever, and they say, "Welcome home." And man, I don't know how it works, but it works. I don't know how you go. I mean, when you guys hear "Welcome home," does it work? I assume it all works on you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like a belonging to something that I remember from the past, as well as something that still has a meaning for me today.
Yeah, and it's and that's the cool thing too, is that your Disney experience is not just Disney, it's you. You know what I mean? Like, you're part of that story. So when I show up with my family, I'm bringing in our story into the Disney story, and it's going to be unique for our family. Mm-hmm. And we bring with us all of our old memories, all of our inside jokes, our favorite things to do, our favorite places to take pictures of the kids every year. So we have that visual, growth chart. Mm-hmm. So yeah, here's the thing. If I could fully explain it, there probably wouldn't be a book, because that's why I wrote the book. It's like, how do they do that? And I don't mean technically. They want us to feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
and you kind of brought in the whole personal emotion in shared spaces. I mean, that's kind of where you're going with the answer you gave us. So, could you tell us a little bit about the Disney experiences and how they often feel deeply personal, yet they're shared with total strangers that come in from all over the world to experience a park? So how does Disney balance that individual emotion with collective experience so effectively?
Yeah, so that's one where, throughout the book, I try to point to it, but I feel like a weatherman trying to, I never know if I'm pointing the right way. It's up there. But in the book is, there are call outs from Theron as the former Imagineering. He's the founder of the Designers Creative Studio. He's got an amazing book that just came out. But throughout, he's got, I've got what I call Theron Skees. Get it?
Yep,
okay.
Got it. Love it.
Okay. So, and he talks a lot about that. He talks about how the Imagineers have to create their attractions for all different types of people. And they have to be thinking about all these different types of people. And they have to think about somebody who comes alone, somebody comes as a couple, somebody who comes in an extended family, somebody from China, somebody from, Oregon. So I think they think about those things. But I also believe, we all share so many, all you need to do is go stand in a queue. Like, I remember standing in the queue for Dumbo when the kids were younger, and you hear people from all over the world all trying to get their kids not to touch each other. It's like, oh, or something, one kid dropped their ice cream, and we're, yes, we're all from all around the world, but we're so much the same. The same things matter to all of us, and mean something to all. So I think they put enough stuff in each of their attractions that there's something for everybody. And you can ride the same attraction 5 times and get something out of it differently. Mm-hmm. Plus, again, it's what you bring, So if I show up at the Disney park and I got a lot going on outside that park, I got a lot of worries, I'm bringing something different than maybe somebody else who's a little more carefree. But, we all got our own stuff. But I think there's enough of different stuff, but it all hits those common chords that it feels like they did it for us,
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. We always say all my kids had passes for years, and then as time goes on, because they're close to your kids' ages, so life goes on. But I went with my daughter just the other day, and there's the rush around because we're local, so we're not taking any buses or anything to get there. So it's like, okay, it's just getting in there, and then once you walk through the turnstile, like now you're like, okay, we're here, and everything changes for you. So I'm getting goosebumps. But I mean, like you're saying, right? Like, and then you're in there and you're doing all those things that, you've done for years together. And it's pretty amazing. And it's a big community. We all are kind of this big community together and, singing songs together. And, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we've just met, right? But I can guarantee, I could say to you, like, are you familiar with, I know you go to Disneyland a lot. Were you familiar with Disney World a lot or no?
No, just from what I've seen.
Okay.
Disneyland only for me.
So I'll give you an example of just how this belonging thing, Theron and I were really fortunate enough. We did a presentation for the Carolwood Society. I don't know if you know
of them. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So they honored the legacy of Walt's railroads,
Mm-hmm.
So we were invited to speak at one of their annual events, and we spoke at the GM Conference Training Center in Test Track.
Wow.
So here we are sharing these stories, looking out the glass wall at Spaceship Earth, and it's like we're telling stories about Spaceship Earth, looking at Spaceship Earth. It was just amazing. And I asked everybody to close their eyes, and I said, okay, raise your hand if you know what this is. And I said, those who seek the spirit of Norway. And every hand went up, because that was the opening narrative from Maelstrom. And our family, our kids, we grew up with Maelstrom. But I'm not kidding. Almost every hand went up from those words, just those words. So what is that? I mean, what does that tell you about that we all belong to this same thing? It touches something in us. The characters touch something in us that's universal, I think.
Yeah, I know for me, it's like as soon as I hear the Main Street Electrical Parade music, I'm back to being a 7-year-old kid sitting up near It's a Small World waiting for that parade to come by. And it's like as soon as I hear it, no matter where I am, it's summer at Disneyland. It's the summer night sitting next to my brother with my mom behind us. And it's an instant right back to that same spot. And it's like as vivid as all get. I can remember the stanchions. I remember the sounds and, the movements and everything, and how that the lights go down and the music hits and you're just waiting. And as it comes barreling around the corner, everybody's clapping and everything. It's just, like I said, it's a visceral reaction that you have to those kind of things. And I've often asked my viewers, I was like, not necessarily how does Disney do that? It's, what happens when those things are going on? What is it that is that connection? And like you were saying, it's the people you bring. And I often say that yes, Disney creates these amazing attractions, all this stuff, and they wow you and you love them. But those real memories, I've always noticed, are with who you were there with. It's like there's that Disney gives you that place like we said, welcome home. You feel safe.
Yes.
You know, it's okay for a Wall Street trader dad to be wearing a goofy hat. You know, it's okay if mom, you know, has the magic wand and she's running around, you know, giving everybody the pixie dust treatment. You know, it's okay. And those are those things where it's like I said, for me, it's Disney creates that place where you're completely safe. And that's exactly what you were saying in the book.
I mean, I always go back. I mean, the famous story of Walt watching his daughters, you know, and what I say in the book is, you know, I kind of came up with my own answer to my own question in the end of the book, but I invite everybody to come up with your own answer to that question. Even if I don't think that answer matters as much as just asking the question. And for me, I really think Walt was looking at his little girls and he went, "Oh, this is awesome. You know, this is awesome. I wish I was up there. This is really awesome. I wish everybody could feel this." I think that's it right there. You know, he felt love, and he said, "I wish everybody could feel this." You know, and that's why when you're at Disneyland and you know, I bet you I could ask you how it smelled and about how it sounded and about what the food tasted like that, you know, and you could tell me because it mattered.
Yeah, there's literally hundreds of memories throughout my entire life. Because I grew up in Southern California, and my mom was a big theme park fan. She loved going to the parks, and so we were a rope drop to close kind of family. And yeah, it's, you know, I remember being at Cafe Orleans and playing with a spoon and pushing my tooth out, and I lost a tooth at Cafe Orleans. You know, it's like there's so many of those that are vivid. And then with my son, everybody always asks, you know, what's your favorite memory? I randomly went over to one of the cast members at the Mark Twain, and I asked, how do you get up to the wheelhouse? And he said, you ask someone. And I said, well, can we get to the wheelhouse? And he said, yes, Dan, wait over here. And so we got to go up to the wheelhouse, and I have pictures of my son piloting the Mark Twain, pulling the steam whistle. We got to sign the guest book, and we have a little captain's certificate for him. And it's far and away my favorite memory. And, you know, some of the pictures that I have from that, I'll get teary-eyed just looking at it.
And I bet if I asked you how much you would sell it for,
not a price, not a price at all. In fact, if I could get back there, I'd probably give everything.
That's why I wrote the book, because it's just like, and you know what? I wanted a way to let fans talk to the people who created these amazing things for them, and for the people who created them to hear what the fans really thought. Because Theron told me, he said, you know, Imagineers, they don't really get a lot of time. You know, they do their project and they're bam, next project. They don't really get a lot of time to go, oh, how did people like it? So they don't realize the impact that they're having on us, you know, that the people who created that, what you just experienced, that has stayed with you your whole life, Danny, and affected your family.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I've done that where the first time I saw Believe There's Magic in the Stars, they had just started the firing line of fireworks at Disneyland, where they, you know, can fire off the one straight up behind. And I still remember that show. As soon as that happened the first time, the gasp that you could hear every single time, I was like, I can't imagine what it's like for the people that worked on that show, that designed it, to be standing out in Disneyland. Nobody knows who they are most of the time. And they're standing there, and there's that, you know, collective, you know, hundreds, thousands of people all doing the same thing at the same time, going, wow. You know, that I can't imagine what that feels like for an Imagineer to be sitting there and seeing that. You know, the same thing like, you know, when Indiana Jones, people still to this day, those cars will pull around the corner at the end and you'll hear clapping from the car. You know, I mean, that's what, we're 30 years out, and it's still getting people to applaud when they're done.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I'm commandeering the conversation. I'll let Bob and Courtney chime in.
Well, no, I was going to say, like, when you say that, because it's funny when if you're there, even if you don't know the people, right? Like, because we're all in the same community, but you find out it's their first time there, their first time seeing this fireworks show. I mean, we're there all the time, so it's like, we've seen it multiple times, but it gives something back to you too, right? Because you're like, I've seen it 100 times, but now that I've seen this person, it's their first time, like when they clap on the ride, you're like, wow, yeah, this is amazing. Like it comes all flooding back to like how amazing all of this is and how it touches people. So
my wife said something to me. I forget where we were, California Grill. I forget where it was, but she said, for these people in this room, it might be the only time they're ever here. It might be the first time and the only time they're ever here. So for cast members, for the leaders, because everybody, they have to be so good all the time, because it could be the one time somebody's experiencing that ride or that show or whatever, which is amazing responsibility.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things I love, so I'm a former cast member, and I think it's always nice to recognize those cast members that always do those magical things. So I created a sticker that I give to them that says cast member extraordinaire, because they're the ones that help make those experiences for us. But at the same time, like yesterday, so I went to Disneyland yesterday, and I was with family, and my mother-in-law, it was her 85th birthday, and we were celebrating, holiday, because she doesn't say birthday anymore. But she was experiencing Disneyland for the first time in about 10 years. My sister-in-law hadn't been there in 20 years. My other sister-in-law, she has passes like me, so we go all the time. My wife and my daughter were with us, and it was kind of cool being able to share this experience with all of them, especially since some of them hadn't been there in such a long time. And so what I did is, before my live stream, I actually took photos and videos of my time at Disneyland over the last several years, especially with my daughter and my wife. And I shared that with them. I said, hey, when we did Paint the Night 10 years ago, when it released, this is what my daughter's expression was, and this is what we did. And when one of my fond memories was my mom getting on Dumbo, with my daughter before she passed away. So it's so awesome to see these moments and share them. So I got on Dumbo, and then I shared the video of my mom with my daughter on Dumbo. So it was such a cool thing. And that's the thing that I like about, Disney. My wife, she doesn't understand the whole thing. She's like, I don't get it. Why do you like Disney so much? You go twice a week. Don't you get tired of it? I'm like, no, it's the wonder and the magic. She's like, So she obviously has a different view, but I mean, I thoroughly enjoy going to the parks, and I have a lot of fun, but I think it's because my parents made some amazing memories with me, and now I'm getting to make those memories with my family and then my viewers as well. And I'm sure Danny and Cordy feel the same way.
That's awesome. I mean, it just shows you the power of all this, right? Just tremendously powerful. I mean, the Rolly Crump, I think, so if a friend, Ken Kibo, he had created a documentary about Rolly called Whimsical Imagineer.
Yeah, and that was amazing.
If you watch the end of it, it's a wonderful documentary. And at the end, Rolly talks about sitting on a bench watching people come off the attractions he's worked on, and you just see it in his eyes. It's like, that's why they do it. They wanted us to feel something, and to actually see us feeling it. I mean, and really, how does Disney do that? It's just my thank you. It's a love letter to Disney. It's like, thank you. You really made a difference in our lives, my family's life. And I know a lot of people's lives. So, there's a lot of stuff out there about Disney and everything. And, again, they're a company, but I don't know of any other company that changes lives the way Disney does.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I know, we've been kind of in this realm the last few minutes, but, wonder as the emotional core. So, do you think wonder is something we lose or something we stop giving ourselves permission to feel?
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's a conscious decision we make to go, I'm not going to feel wonder anymore. I just think what happens is, oh man, what am I going to get on the SATs? Or, oh, I got to find an apartment. Do I need an apartment? Renter's insurance, and I got what college am I going to? I just, I got to pay the bills. Like, it's like it just keeps coming and coming and coming. And I do a thing. I do workshops, and one of the things I do in one of my workshops, is I have all the adults in the room. It's typically adults I'm talking. I'll say, look at this room like you would as a child. And I said, first of all, pick an age, and they pick all different ages: 2, 5, 7. I said, look around this room and tell me what you would want to do in this room. And it is amazing what happens. Oh, I want to go into those chairs. That's a tunnel. I want to go over there, the audio visual stuff. I want to play with that board. You see it actually happening, and they start talking, and then I right as they're doing it, I stop them and I go, how do you feel? And they go, great, excited. It's like, it's like, we're being kids again. Kids look with wonder. Some kids go through a lot of tough stuff, but kids typically, if you watch them, they do the funniest things, right? They walk into the puddles. They don't walk around them. I was talking with my wife today. We were out for a walk and talking about the movie Big, with Tom Hanks. Mm-hmm. And I said, I bet you, I can imagine he watched kids a lot, to prepare for that role. So I think it's just kind of, I picture it like as you start to walk into the park, like parts of you are kind of falling away, and like you're getting smaller. I've talked about this with my wife, she had a great concept, like, if you think about everybody who walks into the park, when they walk in under the tunnel, and remind me, isn't that how it is at Disneyland? You walk in under the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you walk through, it's like you start getting younger,
Yep.
And, it's just, but here's the thing. You have to look at what were the ingredients that went into my being able to be on that ride on Flight of Passage and cry. What were the ingredients, right? Well, we hadn't seen my son in a year because of the pandemic. So we were going to see my son. That's pretty powerful, right? I had no idea what I was walking into. It was going to be a surprise. The detail, the cue, that cue for Flight of Passage is so detailed, and then you get in there and there's some anxiety, and it's dark and there's pulsing behind the wall. So they're setting up the whole scene. And then we dropped in. I had to be in that place, and I had to have forgotten all the other stuff from my life and all that, just to be there to feel that sense of wonder. We feel wonder with other stuff, when our kids are born or whatever. I think it has to take you by surprise. You have to be able to have just forgotten everything else for a moment. And, you've seen it. Like, I don't know if you guys are, I'm a huge Springsteen fan, but whoever your favorite band is, we love Shinedown, but imagine when you go to a concert and there's that connection with 50,000 people with the band, and they're in that song, and you're all, and that's like a revival.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonder to me.
Yeah. You have a chapter that kind of starts shifting from Disney to the rest of us. What would you say is the single most important Disney principle leaders, creators, or communicators can apply immediately, even outside themed entertainment? Kind of like you were saying, we've lost that. But how do we kind of steer ourselves into seeing the wonder again?
Yeah, well, I think it's really probably two things. You need to think about how can you get to a place where people can just let go for whatever amount of time. Just let go. We don't have to worry about the bills or the laundry or the car repairs or just for a little while. Just let go. And then the second thing is when I was in corporate communications, I'd get in these meetings and we'd talk about a big announcement that was coming. And we'd talk about all the data and the stats and the timelines. And then I'd ask a question that would typically make eyes roll. My question was always, how do our people feel and how do you want them to feel after we communicate with them? So the main thing I would say to anybody is, how do you want people to feel? So if you're a communicator, if you're a designer, if you're whatever you do, how do you want people to feel after, so for all of you, how do you want people to feel when they're listening to your podcast and afterwards? That's a question.
Yep.
Oh. Ladies first. Oh.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, it's always like, I want them to feel like happiness. Like I picture them, like I want to see them smiling and like just enjoying. And then within that, right. So when we're live, you have the chat. So everybody's like greeting each other and, happy to see everyone, even in the chat. So that's the part I love.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same thing. Ditto.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I've always looked at live streaming and our podcast is that I'm just trying to inject a little bit of joy into somebody's life. If I can get them, like you were saying, to forget about everything for even just a few minutes, then I feel like I've done my job, and if they can look back on those times, I mean, we've got so many times in my live streams that my chat is just, giving me heck and making fun of me and saying things. And I'm nearly on the floor laughing because of what they're doing. And I've actually gone back to some of my streams and just rewatched them because I was like, that was so funny. I just want to go back to that moment for a few more minutes. I want to relive it again. And it's one of those things. And I'm going to steer it a little bit into a little bit of the mission of your book as well with Give Kids the World. My wife came to me one day and she said, this YouTube thing, it can't just be about you going hanging out at the park. You have to do something with this. And so it became that we're going to do the chalk walk, the Children's Hospital of Orange County. They do a big walk. Me and my wife used to do it way back when. We kind of let it go, but it actually walks through Disneyland. And
wow.
I said, okay, well, I'll do it. And she said, why don't you see if Bob and Cordy want to do it with you? And so I asked Bob and Cordy, and of course, the gigantic hearts that they have, they were like, of course we'll do it. Yeah, we're
I should have said without the glitter hat, though. Sorry, it's an inside joke there, James.
But so we've done it for 2 years now, and we've raised over $40,000 in the 2 years.
$51,000.
Yeah, so that's where we've gone with this little thing that my wife just kind of said, this can't just be about hanging out at the parks. And how I pitch our chalk walk and the donations is, if we can get one of those little guys, one of those little girls to be willing to fight one more day, we've done our job. That's what our donations are going to. We just want them to know that they're loved, and we want Chalk to do everything they can to help them. Mm-hmm. And you've got that same type of mission with your book with Give Kids the World, I believe, correct?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for sharing that. And I'll share a little bit about Give Kids the World and just put, so I asked you each how you wanted people to feel after the podcast. And so I start there because if that's your endpoint, all you need to do is deconstruct it and go, okay, how did I get people to feel that way, right? What can I do to make people feel happy and joyful and feeling like they want to take part in the chalk walk and all that, you know? So that, I think that's where everybody can start. How do we want people to feel in our family, you know? With Give Kids the World, I don't know if you're, I wasn't aware of Give Kids the World until I moved down to Florida, which is amazing because when you come down here and if you go to Kissimmee, which is about, 10 miles, 10, 15 minutes south of Disney World, there's a place that, have any of you seen Give Kids the World? Are you aware of it? I don't know if you're.
Yes, I've seen several videos and live streams done from there.
This place is amazing. If you come to Disney World, you have half a day, and you can arrange it. You join my community, you can arrange it. I can arrange it, but you know you can get a tour. But I'll just give you a nutshell of this thing. It was founded by a Holocaust survivor, Henry Landworth. He and his sister were left of his family after the Holocaust. He came to Florida. He was in the military and everything, and he started to open hotels. And he opened a hotel out by Cape Kennedy, and he was friends with all the Mercury astronauts. I think his child's godfather is Walter Cronkite, so he was close with Walter Cronkite. And he owned a hotel right at the, I think the east gate of Disney World, a Holiday Inn. And he'd get calls all the time and from people they were trying to arrange trips for children who were terminally ill to come and go to Disney World. And he'd say, of course, come here free, you know. And one time happened and he was trying to arrange it all and the young girl passed away. And he said, that's never going to happen again. He said, we've got to find out a way of doing this. So he went to Disney World, he went to Universal, he went to SeaWorld, and he went to Perkins. And together they founded this thing called Give Kids the World. And they provide week-long free vacations for critically ill children and their families. And they come there and they can go to all the parks anywhere they want to go in Central Florida. A lot of them choose Disney, obviously. And I was Brian Collins, who's a former Imagineer. He gave my son and I kind of a tour of Epcot, and then he worked with Give Kids the World. He arranged for me to go and do a tour. And I went there, and it literally was, when I walked into this place, it was like walking into a mini Magic Kingdom. And Darren DeHeadville, he gave me a tour of the place, and I interviewed some of their people for the book. You can't even describe this place. The attractions are just amazing, and they're all accessible for kids. And they have a theater where they can bring in hospital beds to watch Disney movies. They've got a place where little girls can get, have makeup and wigs because of, chemo treatment, stuff like that. And the whole place is like that. And Henry Landworth went to all these big companies, big ones. And he said, I need your help. But your name is not going to appear in this village. So you see all these things, but there's no names on any of them. They're not for sponsorships. They also have the one building where the Imagineers and Universal creative people, they all work together on one building there. It was Henry's Starlight Scoops, where they can get ice cream most of any time of day almost. So I'll just finish by saying there was a moment he was touring me through this, and he took me to this it was a huge playground, and it was named after one of the young boys, Matthew's Boundless Playground. And I looked, and it was Candyland. They had reconstructed Candyland. And the kids can go there and play Candyland. And I went down to, I had no words. I was just nothing. So, And that moment connected to that moment on Flight of Passage. It was just pure wonder. Like, look at what these people are doing. And you know what? Before I went there, I'm like, oh gosh, this place is going to be really sad. And it is literally almost the happiest place on earth. I mean, it's just beautiful. So they're in the book. A portion of the book's proceeds go to Give Kids the World, and then they'll be in the next book, which is about transformation. And Danny, if you don't want to cry, don't go there.
Oh, I know. I was going to say, I saw a live stream, and there's one of the buildings. They've got the stars.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is
I was a blubbering mess just watching it, and I was just like, the thing that struck me was it's too many stars.
Well, here's the beautiful thing. What Danny's talking about, if anyone isn't aware of this, when the kids go there, each kid gets a little star, and they decorate their star. And when they leave their star, and they put these stars up, and they have a castle, and you walk into this castle, and they put the stars up. There's over 180,000 stars on the walls, on the ceilings. But they told me something really cool, which is that when the families walk in there, that is the moment they realize, you talk about belonging, that's the moment they realize they're really not alone. Mm-hmm. That all these other families have gone through the same kind of thing. And some of these children, they're okay. I mean, they're doing okay. They're grown up and, but when you see these stars and you see, it takes your breath away. And they have a huge connection with Disney. When I was there last time, I was interviewing the CEO, and who was next door visiting was Mickey and Minnie. So the characters come there from the parks and visit the kids and the families. And they have there's a lot of Disney people who work there, a lot of people who work there who go to Disney. And they partner. So Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, I mean, all together they partner.
That's so amazing. I want to be courteous of your time because we're already an hour in, but are you up for a few more questions?
Oh, yeah. I'm having fun.
Okay, great. So I've got one more question regarding the book, and then I think I'm going to let Danny and Cordy take a couple other questions outside of how Disney does that, or how does Disney do that? So if listeners walk away remembering just one idea from how does Disney do that, what do you hope it is, and how do you hope it changes the way they experience Disney, or even anything in everyday life?
Yeah, it's funny. It wasn't until I was almost done with the book that I realized that my two books, the titles of my two books are questions. So my first book is called Where Are We Going So Fast? Finding the Sacred in Everyday Moments. And my second book is How Does Disney Do That? How Disney Makes Us Feel and Why It Matters. They're questions because I'm curious. It's curiosity. So but I would say if you take one thing away from all of this, it's notice. Just notice. Take some time. When next time you're at the park, even though I'm crazy with this thing, I drive my wife crazy because I take pictures of everything at a Disney park. I'd say next time you're there, maybe take this and just put it away, half an hour, and just notice, because those moments will never happen again. And there's probably something really important happening. I'm not really good at it. I really am not. I try to be, but even trying to be is better than not noticing it because it goes really fast. So, Disney seems to capture those moments. They seem to be able to make those moments happen. And they somehow bring them out in us, So I would say that's the one thing. It's just notice. Walt noticed his little girls. He had a special day for them.
Well, I think Danny and Corey would like to try to get into some questions from some of our viewers as well as I would. So if you guys have any questions for James, go ahead and throw them to the chat and we will ask him. I started to bring up, and I'll bring it up again. If you want to go to James' website, you can go to jameswarda.com. You will find a plethora of information about him being an author, a writer, and a speaker. Clearly, he's had some amazing books, like he mentioned, Where Are We Going So Fast? He's obviously been a book contributor for Chicken Soup for the Expectant Mother's Soul. And obviously, you've done forewords, for the Turn Enemies into Allies. You've done Coincidental Conversations. You've been a columnist and a blogger. Obviously, the communications and marketing, which you talked about earlier. There's so much stuff that you've done. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think the Where Are We Going So Fast? I think I may need to read that one because my wife is always asking me, why are you in such a hurry? Everywhere I go, I'm in a hurry. And it's one of those things where it's like, I think I need to learn that a little different.
Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. You know what I mean? It's not, and that's the thing. I'm not, nobody's, it's, hey, we're all trying to do stuff, right? But, just it can go so fast. It's like Ferris Bueller, life moves pretty fast. If you don't take a little time to look around, you could miss it.
Oh, yes.
We got a question from Tony. It says, what got you into writing about Disney?
That's a great question. I'd been a writer, but I had never had something to write about. As a writer, if you need something to write about. And I didn't really start doing professional writing until I was probably about 25 years ago. And I got married. So I started writing about the kids and about my my parents. My father had died. If you read that first book, I don't think you'll see much of anything about Disney in there. But my wife, when I got married, my wife had started planning us trips down to Disney World. And I hadn't really grown up going to Disney World, and we started going. It's like trying to explain them why you fall in love or something, and it's like something just started to happen. And not only did I love Disney, but I loved Walt. There was something about Walt that just connected with me. So I really started reading about him. And then as a writer, there's a great book called Wild Mind by Natalie Goldberg, and it's a great writing book. And it always says, if you don't know what you want to write about, finish this sentence. What I really want to tell the world is blank. And so I just wanted to tell the world about this amazing place and these amazing things that were happening there. So that's how it all started.
Very nice. I think we got another one from GV559. Going to Disneyland as a kid was awesome. Going as a parent is 10 times better, he says.
And I don't know who that was who said that, but something I then discovered 4 years ago or 2 years ago is going then as a grandparent. I couldn't, people tell you this stuff, but here I am. We're watching Harmonious, the fireworks show at EPCOT. We're watching, and then I turn around to look, and I love at EPCOT when they're doing that, and at Disneyland. I don't, it's cool to watch the fireworks, but I think it's amazing to watch the people because you see it. Their faces are kind of bathed in the light and stuff. And I turn around and, there's my son holding his daughter, and she's seeing Disney and EPCOT for the very first time. So, wow. So for the person who just said that, yeah, because you get to live it.
Yep, that was GV559 by the way in the chat. So
That's what I'm looking forward to. All my kids already know that they're hanging out with me.
Yep, they're mine. They're ours.
let's see. We have another question from Go and Shogi. During your research, what was your favorite book about Disney?
Wow. Oh, there's so, I mean, this desk I'm sitting at is filled with them. Because, you know, true Disney fans and authors, you can't stop buying them. One of my favorite is Disney's Land. Hold on, let me just look up real quickly here. If you go on Amazon right there, you'll see a book called Disney's Land.
Yeah, let me bring it up real quick.
And it's by Richard Snow. And Richard Snow was the editor for 35 years of American Heritage Magazine. He worked on the screenplay for the movie Glory. He worked with the Burns brothers on their documentaries. But he did this book about Disneyland and its, and on how it came to be. And you've seen, obviously, Disneyland Handcrafted, which has come out, the new documentary. But this book is just wonderful. It is so good. And when I interviewed him, he told me that basically when he was a kid, he lived in New York or around New York, so he wanted to go to Coney Island and stuff. And then he heard about Disneyland on Sunday TV, and he kind of badgered his parents. And finally, they sent him to Disneyland. And they put him on a plane to his aunt and uncle, and his aunt and uncle took him to Disneyland for the day. And he said he ran around, and he goes, but at twilight, and he explains it beautifully. It's in my book. I think his quotes in my book. He said at twilight, he came back to Main Street, to the square, the main square. And he said, and it was twilight, and he heard the horses clip-clopping. He heard the steam train. He saw all the lights go on the buildings. And he said he was instantly transported back to turn of the century America. And he said, and he never wanted to leave. And he said his career then became around American history. And he said it all formed from that moment. So he said, in a way, he never did leave because of Walt. So I'd say that's one of, I mean, there are just so many good books. So many of the people that I work with have just great books. My Theron, so I was telling you about Theron Skees. So my collaborator just came out with this book called Creating Memorable Worlds, and it's for designers, for experienced designers. Thing's amazing. I'm not just saying that he's the same publisher, but the book itself, I think, is a game changer for the industry if you look at it. And he's got a chapter in my book, his own chapters in my book, for a very important reason, because I think it's really important. I thought it was really cool for fans to be able to kind of eavesdrop and listen to what's important to designers. What they think about as they're designing, and they think about us. They just want us to have fun, have joy, feel something, cry. They want us to, it's like after people leave our house and my wife has done all these wonderful things for them, I felt like somebody cared about me,
Absolutely. So that's the book that James Warda is talking about right there from Theron Skees. So if you guys want to check it out on Amazon, you're more than welcome to. All right. Should we see what other questions we have?
We got another comment from teacher Tammy D. Mm-hmm. When I entered Disneyland for the first time in 16 years a couple of weeks ago, it was indeed like coming home.
16 years.
Yep.
I mean, I always say I don't have pictures. Now, I hope nobody here works for Samsung. I don't have pictures of my Samsung refrigerator up on the wall with our kids gathered around it. It's like there's no other brand I know of like that. Where 16 years later, it could have that impact. There's something very important going on in here that we all need to figure out together, because it points to something even bigger. And I always say, the world needs this stuff.
Agree.
Absolutely. I think we had one other comment, not a question, but Lane said, James, when I asked what I'd say if I met Walt Disney, I've always said I'd thank him for being such a great dad. If he didn't long for spending quality time with his girls, Disneyland wouldn't be.
Well, that's the thing. When you read about him, it's like, just imagine, this is a man who had multi-million-dollar, he ran a studio, animated films, building Disneyland, all that. He still took a day a week just for his little girls. Mm-hmm. He's still at home, read them stories and play with them, and built them a little playhouse in the back of the house. That's what it all comes down to. That's where it all comes from. And I'll just share this story, this last little thing here, which is that I'm up here on my wall. You can't see it. I got a really cool picture. My wife got me. It's the land where they would soon build Cinderella Castle. And so you see the land there, and you see a superimposition of Cinderella Castle, and you see a picture of Walt superimposed in there too. There were many, many nights and days that I was working on that book that I never thought it would actually happen. I'd get to a point, I'm like, I can't. I just can't. I don't know. And I would swear Walt was right over this shoulder, and I'd feel like his hand here, and just saying, what he would tell his animators, if he liked their stuff, he wasn't real effusive with his praise, but he would say, that'll work, and I felt his presence. I still feel his presence, I think we all do. That's why we love it so much.
Exactly. Do you want to tell everyone where they can? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the way he took the risk with Disneyland was something just crazy when you look at it. The level of the task at hand that they were taking on. There's nobody that would do that today, it seems.
What did you do? Cashing his life insurance? Imagine
I believe he mortgaged his house so he could finish Mark Twain.
Imagine doing something that everybody told him was crazy. Walt, you're nuts. And that's why he inspires me. It's like, no, he had a vision, but that was more. He saw it. And Disneyland, in 1 year, they built that place. I mean, I've seen it take like 1 year for them to do construction on a side road, and built Disneyland in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And of course, good friend John Spaceship here said Disneyland Handcraft is so good. I can't overstate how good it is. It's amazing. I can't wait to go watch it a second time.
Leslie Iwerks is, she's definitely she has a touch in that, and I've seen just parts of it. It's just because if you watch it and you watch Walt, there's just a special feeling we get when we see him. And so everything that he touched and everything he inspired, I think we get that same feeling.
Yep.
And I think that, because we have that Disney Magical Life, right, at Disneyland now. So, and all the talk about everything with the animatronics. But if it were up to me, like sometimes I'll go watch it before I start the stream because I'm like, I don't know if they want to watch it every time. but it's just to hear his voice, like what we're talking about here. It's like to hear his voice. It's like, doesn't even matter what the animatronic looks like, but we get to see that story, like hear it in his own voice and his words. And I think it's amazing. I'm so happy that they did that, because we get a piece of them,
Yeah, we only have the statue here, his statue, and I love going to sit next to it. Just watching people sit next to his statue in Epcot. You just watch people get emotional sitting next to a statue. It just shows you the impact that the man has.
100%.
Absolutely.
Well, would you like to share with everyone where they can find your book and if they want to purchase it?
Sure. Yes, definitely. Pretty much, if you go to Amazon, Barnes and Noble online, Books A Million. Right now, I talked to my publisher, Rivershore Press, he's just been a wonderful, Barry Hill, wonderful guy, and if he's just been so supportive. He has a special. If you go to rivershorepress.com, right now you can get 10% off and get free shipping. If you use the code SAVE10, you can get that. And then if you want to, then let me know, and you can do that in a number of ways. I'll send you a free autographed book plate sticker for your book, and you can get me in a number of different ways. You can get me at James Warda at howdoesdisneydothat.com. You can also, we have a really thriving online community on Facebook and LinkedIn, and then we have a YouTube channel and an Instagram page. We're at about 8,100 members now. So I would invite all of your listeners to join our community on Facebook and LinkedIn, and also I'm working on the next book in the series, which is going to be Why Does Disney Do That? How Disney can not only change a day at the park, but transform a life. And it's about how Disney literally transforms lives, like it transformed mine. It's going to include a story from Pete McDevitt, who's I know is listening in here, just an amazing man, amazing story about transformation. So I'd love to get stories from your audience. And if they'd like to submit a story, they can just go to howdoesdisneydothat.com, and they'll see at the top, there's a submit a story there. Mm-hmm. And I would love to include them in the next book. So I've been doing a lot of interviews, and I'm really excited about that book because it means a lot to me and hopefully to others.
Sounds amazing. Sign me up. Well, James, Danny, Cordy, and I would really like to thank you so much for joining us today. Obviously, this conversation really shows how does Disney do that? Isn't just about Disney. It's about the emotions, the connections, and the powers of great storytelling. And we really appreciate you sharing your journey and your insights with us. So for everyone listening, be sure to check out How Does Disney Do That? See, I'm trying to say it too fast. And make sure you're following James' work on his website, jameswarda.com, to keep the conversation going. And James, thanks again. And we can't wait to see you again soon, hopefully.
Yeah,
thanks, James. Really enjoyed it. And I have to say that those are some of the best questions I've ever gotten, which sends a message to me that you really care. So you can see you made me feel a certain way. So thank you.
Awesome.
You're very welcome. All right. Well, have a great night. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, James.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was such an amazing conversation to have with him because, again, we're talking about things that we talk about with you during our live streams and things that other people are experiencing, around the world, not just at Disney, but at theme parks all over. So I think that was really a great conversation with him. And I'm looking forward to talking with him again when he does his second book.
Yep, when the next book comes out. And don't forget, guys, and you can possibly be included in that second book. So
when you go on there, right, it's really easy. I mean, as you scroll through, there's different spots where you submit your story. So, you scroll past it once, you'll see it somewhere else. And I think I was watching something else, and I think the series, there's possibly 8 so far that are kind of penned out for the series, but yeah, that's great.
I may have to put mine and Mrs. Casual's little
Story in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great story to add to that.
How
Yeah.
you know, over the course of one day, I fell in love slowly and then all at once.
Slowly and then all at once. I might have to tell you about the story of how I wore a glitter hat. I'm just kidding. Never mind. We're passing on that one. All for a good cause. All right. Well, we have a few other things we'd like to discuss with all of you tonight. Just a couple update things and what's happening at the parks, Lunar New Year. Let's talk about Lunar New Year. It just started on Friday over at DCA. I was at the park yesterday, but only at Disneyland, so I didn't get a chance to experience it. I don't know if you got the chance to experience it, Cordy and Danny. I think you did. Oh, are we bow? Oh, bow. I missed that one. I know. I think Cordy, you got to experience the Lunar New Year. Did you, Danny?
I have not been there for Lunar New Year yet. I'm hopefully going Wednesday night, and we'll be checking some of that out.
Sounds good. Well, we're all going to have to get together and do Lunar New Year and do our foods like we've done the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think it's funny because when you're looking at the list, you're like, oh, there's not too many new things, and then you get there and you're kind of going through the booths and going through they had a great fold out, where they have the foods and everything. I really love when they do that. Like, I need something with the pictures, location,
right, exactly. Yeah.
where you're going. But we found quite a few things. So I was there with Geofire and Lynn yesterday, and it's funny because I didn't even look at the park hours, so I didn't know
Sweetheart's Night.
Yeah. So we just stayed at DCA, and I said, this is kind of a nice thing. Like, I said forced, but you know what I mean? It was like, let's just stay here and just like,
let's dig in a little bit.
DCA. Yeah. So everything was a hit. We were like,
oh, wow.
Perfect. We tried we got the birria egg roll, which was, I feel like it was different. I don't remember if last year is when they changed it, because it was a little more like an egg roll wrapper one year. And then maybe it was last year too, but this year it's more of a wonton kind of wrapper. So it has a different flavor, right? Different texture, but I thought it was delicious. We tried the char siu bao,
how was
which
that?
was, oh my gosh, so good. I bowed to the char siu.
Yeah, you said bow.
Oh my gosh, that thing, and it's like such a great like serving, right? Portion size for Sip and Savor. So we tried that. It's not Sip and Savor, but George got his pizza. So over at the boardwalk, I always forget, pasta.
Yeah, that's the bulgogi, or is it? Which one is it?
Now it's pork belly.
Pork belly. That's right. Last year was bulgogi.
Mm-hmm. So that was a hit there, and then Lynn and I, George came back with his pizza slice and 2 wedge salads, because me and Lynn have been raving about, we got to try that salad. We need to try that salad. So, oh my gosh, and that thing, like, we were like, that's our go-to. That's
the wedge
it's
salad.
Not Lunar New Year, but the wedge salad is amazing.
And that's a Lunar New Year item?
No.
Oh, okay. Just the thing that you need to get. Gotcha.
And then we tried the cream puff, the Mandarin cream puff, which was good. George loved it.
Well, I tried the infinity cream puffs finally.
I went
through the whole thing.
Yeah, this is like the bigger one, the orange, they have. And we tried you'll have to have it if you like Vietnamese coffee. Danny, I know you don't. No coffee for you.
Yeah, okay.
I don't do coffee.
What's in it?
The Vietnamese coffee with taro. It is like we all 3 of us were like, this is, gonna want this every time we go. So,
well, if maybe when we do our in-park, somebody gets it, I might be able to taste it.
It's delicious. I mean, it really tastes like coffee, like Vietnamese coffee. There's not a heavy taro, kind of compliment.
Pete McDevitt, Infinity Cream Puffs. You can look them up on just look them up online. Just do Infinity Cream Puffs DCA, and you'll see what they are. They're 6 little cream puffs that are wildly colored to match the Infinity Stones, and each have a different flavor.
How did you like them?
I thought they were pretty darn good. Some flavors were better than others. Some of them were a little too subtle. So it was like, okay, but there were some that really stood out. Like I would love to get a giant key lime one, but they were a fun little snack, and you know the presentation's kind of cool, and it's definitely something that you could get somebody and you just kind of share it. You break them apart and can each take a little bite.
Well, Banafi, say my name, says maybe some coffee for Danny.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, only if it's banana cold foam.
That's right. Inside
I
joke.
think Mitch was talking about the coffee. Just, it was not too sweet. I know what he's talking about. Sometimes Vietnamese coffee can have a lot of sugar. This one was not too sweet. Not to worry.
Yeah, I'm just not. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm not a coffee person, so
Right.
can't do it. Wish I could.
There's a lot of beverages, though, that, you could try that aren't coffee.
Oh, Pete says, wow, that's cool and not too pricey.
Yeah, they were, I think, like $9 or something like that for the six of them. Like I said, it's definitely shareable. You don't need to eat the whole thing. You just need like a bite. You could probably, if you're really good, you could probably split it 3 ways, but that might be, somebody's going to get a much smaller piece than everybody else.
Well, that's good, because usually their price to ratio portion is not very good sometimes.
Yeah, I mean it's still theme park pricing, so that makes each one almost $2 each. So it's a little pricey,
Yep.
but not too bad.
Oh, wait. Spaceship here says, if you eat the time stone one last, you can eat them all again. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I was doing half of all of them the whole way down, and then I went backwards through my favorites. So I went with my least favorite back up to the key lime at my favorite.
Key lime is your favorite, you said?
Yeah, the key lime was my favorite.
Nice.
But I love key lime stuff, desserts, all of that. That's one of my favorites.
So, Cordy, did you see anything new or different that you enjoyed about the Lunar New Year besides the food or
No, just that it's just our favorite kind of festival that they have for the last few years. The merch, it was okay. They had the whole magic key section and which cute stuff. Like they had a cute crossbody, like fanny packs kind of bag and a coin bag. And we were talking about the color because it's not a bright red. It's kind of like a burnt orange. But then as we kind of went through the night, I'm like, I think it has to do because with it being year of not just the horse, but the fire horse. So it's more of a mix of the red and gold. So it kind of that color. So
nice. Very cool. Did you go to the parade at all?
Yeah, we watched it. Okay, so this was really cool. We were waiting in line to get our lanyards. And right when we got them and we ordered our stuff and everything, they were like, oh, you can just wait here because the parade's coming. So we had like front row at the first booth, and we got to watch the parade there. It was a really nice night. Like the crowds were very, very low, probably because of the early close at Disney. And then we watched it again over by Little Mermaid, the last showing at 6:45. And then we watched, we also got to see the World of Color, because I was like, we at least have to watch the
opening tag.
New Year, the welcome home, little. I love that. Get your little fireworks show and everything. So it's I think that's a great thing to just stay and watch, if just for that. But we enjoyed World of Color. Like I think George said he hadn't seen it, so we had fun. It's a fun show. But
cool.
But otherwise, I don't think there was really anything. It was too late for the Red Panda. I asked, and they said usually in the morning, so it's more of an early in the day kind of meet and greet over.
Yeah, that's the bummer with those ones. It's like, yeah, they've got the special characters, but you got to get there before 5 o'clock at least.
Right.
to get to hopefully get a shot with the new characters or the unique characters.
Real quick, should we cover one more thing and talk about some of the refurbs real quick?
Sure.
So there are several different refurbs going on right now. Let's see, help me name them off. But we do have, obviously, It's Small World just went down, and they're getting rid of the holiday overlay. We also have Rise of Resistance that is down right now. I'm beginning to wonder if this is going to take longer than usual because they put up big boards in the front. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the wall of boards, I wasn't expecting that. I thought, okay, it's just being shut down. They're working on the inside of the ride, and that's it. But then if you notice, there is a side of the line queue that they've turned into like umbrellas and sitting, and you can kind of see the queue. So that's like, why did they put the walls up? I don't know. I don't get it. But at the same time, it's not like they've announced that, hey, the old, trilogy characters are coming back, but it's not like they're going to be part of Rise of the Resistance. They're not going to change over that ride. So I'm kind of wondering why they put up the boards and everything. It doesn't seem to really make a lot of sense to me. So does this mean it's going to take longer than a couple weeks? It's going to be like, a month or longer? I don't know. Have you guys heard anything?
The only thing I noticed was that there's no date, right? Like at least as far out as the calendar goes for refurbs, it's not. But I found that interesting too, and I kind of thought, I'm like, I don't see how it kind of correlates with the changes, but who knows? Who knows what they may have up their sleeve.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything major. I think it's just a matter of they're probably doing touch-up work on the queue area with the rocks and plants and things like that, and so they usually like to keep that out of view for the most part, or at least attempt to keep it out of view. But I saw somebody else comment that said they just want to make sure that everybody understands it's closed. Don't come over here and think, oh, good, look, here we go. And then you get right up there and it's, just a little rope that's got it closed off. So, but yeah, I doubt there's going to be anything significant to the ride itself. I don't think it's going to be anything, and no changes. Let's put it that way. I think they're just going to spruce everything up. And
let's just start some rumors.
Okay, yeah. They're putting Darth Vader in for Kylo, and Hux is going to be General Tarkin. So, and everybody has to wear the Leia bikini on their way in.
Oh, whoa. No, that. By the way, P. McDev is saying good night. So good night, P. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for connecting us with James Warda. And as a thank you, you guys should definitely check out Pete's show tomorrow night because he's going to have Joe. Is it Lancero? Is it? Wait, did I say it right? Lancero.
Like
thank you. So you definitely want to check it out. He has a 40-year career with Disney, and it's going to be an amazing interview, I'm sure. So definitely check out the Peeping Devitt show tomorrow night. Okay, what other refurbs do we have going on?
It's a good question.
Good question.
So Incredicoasters, I think, is still down, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yes.
Grizzly is down.
And Grizzly's still down. Yeah, they're really doing a lot on that one too. But after that, I think
Jungle Cruise, I think, right? Is it?
It's going to be going down. Yes, actually. Yeah. Yes. Very soon.
Yeah, there's a few things in Galaxy's Edge that are closed, like Oga's Cantina. That's some.
That's right.
I'm not sure what they're doing with that one. I'm not sure how they need to, if that's just again like sprucing up and not really changing anything. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. So those are the few things that are down right now. Hopefully, some things will be coming up real quick. But some of the things do not have reopening dates yet, like Rise of the Resistance. So it's still kind of like up in the air. Let's see. The sailing ship Columbia is also out right now. And then, of course, Jot's Coolers or Jot Cause Coolers at the Resistance Clearing is closed at the moment. But other than that, I think we're all good. Oga's Cantina at Small World, Rise.
We have Teacher Tammy D gifting 5 memberships. Congrats to Pete Tammy Show, Sky 2010.
Thank you.
John E, Steve Jennings, and Rob Ola. So Rob Ola got that membership that he gifted.
Right.
Got it back.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you, Tammy.
And
Thank
Eric
you,
Schwartz
Tammy.
just became a member. So flags in the chat
Oh.
for Tammy, flags in the chat for Eric. Thank you so much, everybody.
Hey, get that confetti going there. Woo. That is awesome.
Yeah, I think at DCA they just show Golden Zephyr closed March 8th, reopening TBD, Jumping Jellyfish February 23rd through March 5th, and then we're waiting on Monsters, right? Like some
for that announcement.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they don't do the thing where they're like, oh, guess what? It's closed now. You know,
I know.
I don't think they will, but
I don't think they will because they actually didn't they do a button for the 20th anniversary or something like that?
Yes.
Oh,
Now, something to think about too, real quick, because I don't know if you've kind of been paying attention to some of the construction going around the park, but they haven't said anything about Monsters Inc. because I don't think they have anything to report yet. There's some other things I think they need to do first, and it could be, the building of that parking structure, how they're planning on doing this Esplanade. Obviously, they're going to be taking out those buses that you pick up to go to Toy Story. Aww. That won't be there because that's going to be part of Avatar. So it does make me wonder if they're holding off from saving anything. I know, sorry. Corny's like, Toy Story. It's okay. Just so you know, my sister-in-law Gloria, she was with us yesterday, and she was heading off. And I'm like, "Oh, did you park in Mickey and Friends?" She's like, "No, I never park there because Toy Story is better, and Toy Story it's easy to get in and out of." And I'm like, "Whatever, just leave." Too funny. But yeah, who knows? I mean, hopefully they will announce something. Well, let's put it this way. Them not announcing anything now is fine with me because it means we get to more time with Monsters Inc. So
yeah, no rush. No rush, guys.
I just wish they could make our connection a little bit better inside that ride, just because it's constantly lagging out in there. But
well, it makes me wonder too. Is it because it's on the edge there? If you think about it, it's right, kind of in that area of Esplanade where the Wi-Fi doesn't work that well on both sides of the Esplanade there in front of Disneyland DCA. So who knows? Maybe when they extend it out, they will, or maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah,
we can cross our fingers and hope, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's obviously they've got the sidewalk all shut down on is it Disneyland Drive? So yeah, they're doing all sorts of not Disneyland Drive. What is it? I forget the other name.
Yeah, that's Disneyland Drive, isn't it? Right next to DCA, at the very back corner.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Sorry. I always forget those roads there.
Yeah, I think the one that cuts across in front of the hotel is Magic Way, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, where the
right. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, they're definitely setting things up for the Coco, ride in that area. So that's interesting. Of course, it's supposed to be early 2026 that they're breaking ground. So we'll see.
Yeah, and Gelato says, personally, I'd rather them wait and put Avatar in the Simula. I agree.
I agree too, but
I'd rather they do something nice with the backlot and kind of give us. My idea was the best. That's all I'm going to say, is to do the comics through the years, all the way leading up to current day Avengers Campus.
Yep.
That would be the best.
The Toy Story bus was serving beef Wellington yesterday?
It's the last hurrah. If we're going to have to change all this, we're just going for it.
Just going to go guns a-blazing.
That's funny. Too funny. Well, do you guys have any questions for us before we get going? Because we're going to end the show just a little bit earlier than we normally get to, so that Danny can get a little rest and end at a decent time for once. But if you have any questions for us, throw it in the chat so we can answer those questions for you. And we hope that you guys enjoyed our special guest tonight.
Yeah, that book is amazing. You guys got to go check out that book. Even just read the sample on Amazon and you'll be hooked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And, proceeds, a portion of the proceeds go to a good cause. So.
He says it's on the edge of glory and it's saying, "Buy a moment with us." That's funny. Tammy said, "This has been an amazing stream. Thank you." Oops, sorry. Oh, we do have a question here. Are any of you going or went to Sweethearts Night?
I'm not. So
I'm not.
Nope.
I will tell you though, something that I thought was interesting last night. So when we went to Disneyland with the family, we were talking about where we're going to watch the fireworks. That never happened, unfortunately. They just did the projections. However, I thought it was interesting because there was like no one in front of the castle, like an hour and a half to an hour before they were supposed to do, fireworks. And I was thoroughly amazed. In fact, I even told my wife and my family members, I'm like, hey, we should just go to, the castle to see it. But unfortunately, we had already agreed to go to It's a Small World to watch the fireworks and or projections over there. Still a great place to go. But I was amazed that so many people had already left the park because of Sweethearts Night and that there weren't more people, crowded around the castle like there normally is. So that was kind of a nice thing.
No fireworks because it was Sweethearts Night is what I read, right? Just projections at 7:30.
I thought I'd read that there were supposed to be fireworks, but they canceled them. They
Yeah,
not do them on Sweethearts Nights?
No, because they do 7:30 projections. Unless you were there for Sweethearts Night. Were you there for?
No, I wasn't there. No, they don't do fireworks on Sweethearts Night anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
So that is the toughest thing for me is that I spent so much money last year, and the reason why I'm not going George this year and Abby is because last year I went and it rained, and I thought, okay, they'll put the characters elsewhere. No, they didn't put the characters anywhere. No meet and greet. They canceled every single photo op and meet and greet there was. And the only thing you could do is go see entertainment, ride rides, and that was pretty much it, and eat some food. All the merchandise was sold out before the event started, and I was like, what did I spend all this money for 4 hours? This was ridiculously, wasteful. And then it kind of happened on 90s night. And I was like, okay, well, even though I had more fun at 90s night, it rained again and things were, not running as smoothly as I thought they should. And I felt like I was wasting money. So by the time I went to FanFest at Universal, I was like, I'm going to FanFest again, but I doubt I'm going to go to any other event except for Oogie Boogie. Now, my friend has convinced me that I need to go back with him to Star Wars Night, so it looks like Star Wars Night I'll be going to. But I was going to take my daughter to Disney Channel Night. She doesn't want to go, so I'm not going to that, it looks like. So, I don't know. It seems like a lot of money to spend for just a little bit of time and not a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, I got tickets for FanFest for me and Casual Junior. So we're going to do the 2 p.m. entry at Universal, get on some stuff and check out Universal, and then do FanFest. And I mean, that's how good FanFest was last year. It got me to buying a ticket way ahead of time. So
George is asking, did they cut an hour off this year? No. Well, wait.
It's still 1.
Does it go till 1? Yeah, I see.
It's still 9 to 1 is the special event.
They better not, because 4 hours is not enough for that event. Excuse me.
Yeah, a lot of people bumped over to DCA because it was really, really quiet. And then we went on Soarin'. And then when we went to World of Color, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
A lot of people showed up.
And you are right. Disney Channel Night was fun. So Cordy and I were there the same night last year. No, 2 years ago. And it was a lot of fun. It was great. We all had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, actually. Personally, I thought it was great. However, again, it needs to be longer than just 4 hours. They just don't give you enough time.
Everything.
And as it was, I don't know if you remember, Cordy, but you guys had already ordered some stuff. And then I tried to order some stuff and it was not even available for mobile order. You'd literally have to go and stand in line. And it was kind of a pain if it wasn't for you and some of the other people we were hanging out with that had ordered food earlier. I wouldn't have gotten to try some of those things.
Do they make you scan in before you can do a mobile order for the special event nights? No, so you can order like at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. when they open. You can start your mobile orders.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. And the other thing is they open up the store for the merchandise early. So I want to say last year for Sweethearts Night, I got there like, I don't know, I want to say I got there about maybe it was 7:30, 8 o'clock at night or something like that. And they already sold out most of the stuff and didn't have hardly anything available. So when I went to 90s night and I met up with Hope and her mom, we decided to go as soon as they opened. And I think we got there like around 6. And by 7 o'clock, they had pretty much sold out of most of the stuff. And it's like, what? Are you kidding? So, yeah, to me, it's like they almost don't order enough merchandise for the different events. Oh, and Kelly DiMaggio says, guys, we need to take a bow. There we go. Fun stream. Disneyland needs more tailspin in general. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they could do to get those, get the grown-ups who have those memories of, Disney Afternoon and other stuff. There's a lot of ways that they could kind of sprinkle some of that in there, but with the after hours events now they realize, okay, we can just paywall it, and that's a shame.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, to me, I just don't feel like I'm really getting my money's worth. Barbara says, I don't really have a question, but I'm going to put a question mark at the end of the sentence to see if y'all read it. Well, we read it. There we go.
Oh, that was sneaky.
Yes, that was
Right?
sneaky. You like that?
I am going to do the 70 years one.
I'm debating because I feel like I want to do it, but I feel like they're just going to do the throwback night where they're going to have some of that stuff and that's it. So I'm like, is it?
I'm a sucker.
Throwback night. Throwback night looked great. But I'm wondering if it's really worth my time and money,
Yeah.
I know.
So.
But FanFest, yes, I am so excited. I'm so super excited for that.
You got the pass, didn't you?
I did. I went for it. It's like, I'm doing it. I'm going.
Yeah. If I could get there more, I would have done it because I did have a fantastic time. And I love that they're already changing it, that they're not leaving it.
Yep.
I mean, the marquee event, marquee thing last year was Back to the Future. And they're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that one this year. We're going to give you something new. It's like, whoa.
Yes.
That's a heck of a gamble.
It is. But at the same time, if they're successful with this, which I think they will be, it means that they can just choose something new each year, and people will be like, "Wow, I got to check that out. I want to see what they did. I saw what they did with Scooby Doo and Monsters, and now, Back to the Future. Here's what are they doing this year?
Yeah, and that's I think what their plan was. I think once they saw that it was going to be a hit, especially, they said, okay, we're going to roll these out and have a different experience every year so that we're pulling people constantly. It's, it's like, oh man, I love Back to the Future, but it's not here. But then in, 3 years when it comes back, everybody's gonna be like, yeah, let's go again. So they're doing it really smart.
And they did like how they did the whole, not pre-sale, but like, hey, you can get your tickets and your passes early. And I did, and I was like, hold off, right? No rush. But as soon as they announced, right, like where we were going to get to go and kind of what that was going to be like, and like we talked about, right, like I know Bob read all the books, but like I'm not a Harry Potter fan. But when I go there, I love hanging out and what they're going to do for us there. And I'm so happy they're doing the One Piece water show because I
yes, right.
I understand. So then I was like,
and if I recall correctly, if you bought your tickets by a certain time, you get a collectible coin too. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I don't think I got in there in time for that. I just bought it.
Yeah, I think it was that
a week ago.
Yeah.
And Holo Gelato says they're not done yet with the announcements too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And I was wondering because we haven't heard anything about Star Trek coming back.
Maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll be something else.
Exactly. I was trying to find it, and I didn't see anything referring to Star Trek. So
Dungeons and Dragons that was a hit. That
one was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I actually like that. That was, and it was the perfect amount of time. I was like, okay, we're going to the next room. We're going to the next room, and then it ended. I'm like, oh wait, I kind of want to experience that again. I didn't get a chance to, but it was really, really cool.
Yeah, great character actors too. They were awesome.
And it looks like
that may be a good way to do some haunt mazes in that style, where it's a story that plays out, where you kind of everybody moves together and you hang out for a moment, because I don't think anybody's done that with a haunt, have they?
No, that would be good.
Where there's
Yeah,
actual
just
show
try that
scenes.
out.
That could be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, they finally put up the Universal Express tickets up for sale too. Because originally they were just selling the tickets and that's it. Now you can buy the
Now you can get the
Universal
Express.
Fan Fest nights, Universal Express, and Express Unlimited. It's $30 more if you want Express Unlimited. Plus they have the VIP tour, and of course you have the after 2 p.m. day and night Universal Express. So you've got a few different options to choose from. Besides
Shogi,
the Ultimate Fan Pass.
Yeah, but Shogi brings up the Jujutsu Kaisen show. And that, it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know anything about this, but I'm sitting there watching it going, this is a cool story. I'm digging it. So,
yeah, very, very cool.
So I'm really looking forward to the One Piece show. I'm hoping that it's not the kind of thing where it's just, it's like, okay, you got to get in line at, 6:30 and hope that you make it in for the, 1 a.m. show or something like that. Because it's like,
right.
Yeah. So
I
I hope
a lot of people in there though, so that I think we're.
Yeah, exactly. So it should be good and it should be fun. I mean, people just were eating up the little meet and greets with the One Piece characters. That was, people were having a blast with that.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yep.
Look how much more excited we are for FanFest than any of the Disney after hours. So that tells you something. That tells you that Disney needs to figure out what they're doing with their after hours events, and possibly, give them a refresh and say, you know what, we're hearing you. Because even if they're selling tickets, I don't see excitement. At least not in the creator community. The creator community is so, most of us are over the Disney after hours. There's a few that still, it's like they'll do their pictures and their Instagrammy stuff, and that's fine. But
not like 2 years ago even.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people are just skipping Oogie Boogie nowadays? It's a lot.
I know.
I don't see any other questions. I know Mitch, you asked about my dad. He's doing better and he's healing up. So thanks for asking about that. But let's see.
Nuts Boysenberry.
Boysenberry Festival starts March 14th to April 12th.
We have the Peanuts celebration coming this weekend.
Oh, Peanut celebration. That's right. It starts this Friday, the 31st. So
I'm hoping to get there next Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. It starts on Saturday, the 31st. It doesn't start on Friday. Interesting. Wonder why it's always kind of been a weekend thing. So it's going to start on the 31st. So I definitely encourage all of you to check it out. If you have a Knott's Pass, go experience it. It's always fun to see the characters, and they have a lot of things during the day. The
Legendary Rooftop concert is so much fun.
Yes, Jelly of the Month Club.
Yeah,
and Paint the Night comes back Friday.
Yep.
Yay!
Get our
Very
parade
cool.
on.
What's that?
I said, get our parade on. Well. Maybe one, maybe two. It depends when they close.
Yeah, I know.
Right. These early hours are killing me, especially with the Sweethearts night. And, since I typically go on Thursday nights, it makes it very difficult. So I don't know if I'll be streaming during the day or the evening nighttime, but we will see. With that, I think that's a great cue to say, I think it's time to say goodnight to all our family. All right. So with that, Cordy, would you like to tell us where we can find you and when you're going to be streaming next?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, my Discord, and Twitch. Right now, because just my plans this week personally, I might see you TPC Wednesday.
Okay.
And then Sunday.
Okay, very cool. And Theme Park Casual, please tell us where we can find you and when you're streaming next.
You can find me on YouTube, X, and Instagram, all of them at Theme Park Casual. I am planning to be in the park on Wednesday, but it depends how I end up feeling. So I have to wake up tomorrow at 3 a.m. and go through an entire day. So we'll see what that does to me. And then on Wednesday, I'm scheduled to be out in LA for some signage install to oversee that. So we'll see.
Okay.
But if not,
Well,
I'm planning to be at the parks on Saturday night too.
very cool. Well, I hope you feel better for sure.
Yep.
And of course, you can find me at our Berry Place 28 on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. And I'll be streaming on Thursday. I don't know if it's going to be during the day or evening, like I just mentioned. And then I should be streaming again on Sunday. I think Sunday I'm going to try to stream during the day again, based on the fact that Disneyland's closing early. We'll see. To be determined. With that, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. We had a great time. I want to say thank you again to our special guest, James Warda, for joining us tonight. He was an amazing guest. Definitely go check out his website, jameswarda.com, and also, check out his book. He's got a great deal going on at riverpress.com if you buy a book there, and he'll send you a personalized nameplate, which is awesome. Yep. And with that, kids, dreamers, and jammers, have a great night, and we will see you on our next Park Streamers Hangout in 2 weeks. Good night, everyone.
All right. See you, kids.
Good night.